JavaScript Developer Tools, or simply DevTools, is a suite of tools that are built into the Google Chrome browser. Developers can use these tools to debug and profile JavaScript code and to optimize website performance. DevTools is an essential tool for professional web developers as it can help them save time and improve website quality. Of course, DevTools are also available in other browsers like Microsoft Edge. In this tutorial, we will cover the basics of JavaScript developer tools. We will start with the inspection and editing of website HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We will then move on to the debugging and optimization of JavaScript code. And by the end of this tutorial, you should have a solid understanding of JavaScript developer tools and be able to use it to optimize your website performance. DevTools provides a powerful set of tools that allow developers to inspect and edit website HTML, CSS, and front-end JavaScript in real time. And to access DevTools, simply right-click on any web page element here on the page and click Inspect. This will open a new pop-up window that allows you to inspect and edit the page's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, if you're using it the first time, you should probably create a window on the right, but since I've been using it, I've chosen to have it as a separate window, and it popped out like this. By clicking here on these three dots, we can choose which side we want to dock it on. And for example, now it's on the left side, bottom, right, and as a separate window as well here. Now the first thing to take note of is the Elements tab right here, and it allows you to inspect the HTML structure of a web page. You can view the page's HTML source code as well as the box model of any selected element by just hovering over it, like this iframe here, which is a separate new document with its own HTML. Of course, there are also script and link tags which are metadata and they will not show. Of course, we can also remove elements in real time as well by right-clicking somewhere and clicking delete element. The element is removed from the flow even though nothing happened. Now, aside from that, another important tab is the Sources tab here. The Sources tab in DevTools allows you to view and edit the JavaScript code of a web page. You can set breakpoints to halt execution at specific points in the files here, and we can open them by double-clicking them. Okay, for example, this is the breakpoint set here. And after that, we can step through the code line by line and also view and edit the web page's CSS in real time, although there doesn't seem to be. Oh, here it is. Of course, these are the shared variables that have come over through the Sources tab here, but for the most part, we can also edit CSS from the Elements tab as well. Now, another important thing here is the Network tab. And the Network tab in DevTools allows you to view all of the HTTP requests made by the web page. Now, since this is only a Google new tab, there don't seem to be any HTTP requests here, but if there were, they would be listed here. And by clicking on each one of those, we could view the details of each request, including the response status, headers, content, and so on. This tab can also be used to analyze web page performance. Another important one is the Console tab, and this is basically the console with the JavaScript interpreter turned in. So we can write and execute JavaScript code on the fly in real time. This tab can be used to test small code snippets and or to access global variables. We can also preview HTML, CSS, and JavaScript changes in real time by simply interacting with the code through the console tab. Now, the use of DevTools is fairly straightforward. It's for JavaScript debugging, which is the process of finding and fixing bugs in JavaScript code. And DevTools provides a variety of debugging tools that make this process much easier. Like the most common tools used would be breakpoints, console debugging, or rather console logging, and watch expressions. Now we've already been through breakpoints on the sources tab, where we could go to a specific file, click on a line, and add a breakpoint there. Once the code reaches this specific point in execution, it'll stop and allow us to go through code and check the trace stack of everything that's been executed up until that point. Console debugging is fairly straightforward. If we get an error telling us, for example, a reference error saying that some variable isn't defined, we might want to try and console log it here. See if anything turns up, and if there is no value, then maybe we could go back to our text editor and check for what might have gone wrong. The third one are watch expressions, which are a debugging tool that allows developers to monitor the value of a variable as they step through their code. And I'm not sure exactly where it is. I think it's in the sources tab. Oh yeah, it's here. By just isolating a variable, we could track its value in real time as the code is or has been executed. Obviously, this tool is quite helpful for finding the source of issues that are not immediately obvious. For example, some problems like faulty variables and maybe using the wrong arithmetic operation could easily be found. There are some problems that might simply arise because there's a lot of unused code, or it's fairly unoptimized. That's where JavaScript optimization comes in, and it's the process of reducing the load time and improving the performance of JavaScript code. There are several techniques that developers can use to optimize JavaScript code, such as removing chunks of unused code by simply checking everything related to it, reducing the size of the code, and minimizing the number of HTTP requests when making full stack applications. Now, for removing unused code, the great way to optimize it is a great way to optimize JavaScript performance, but we have to be careful about that because we might get to a point where for the most part some code is unused, but inside of it contains some values that are fairly critical for the execution of our code. So that would definitely have to be refactored, and thus the size of the code would be reduced. But the most important one is minimizing the number of HTTP requests and doing everything on the back end that can be done immediately, and afterwards basically sending data in bulk as opposed to rapid fire HTTP requests, given the fact that they happen on the web and they will take time to process. So everything that can be done on the front end to speed up the application flow and make for better user experience, the better. Now, all of that being said, JavaScript Developer Tools is a powerful suite of tools that developers can use to debug, profile, and optimize JavaScript code. DevTools simplifies the debugging process by providing developers with a variety of tools and techniques, such as breakpoints, console logging, and watch expressions, to monitor the value of sequestered variables in real time. Additionally, developer tools can help maximize performance by removing unused code, reducing the size of the code, and minimizing the number of HTTP requests. By using developer tools, developers can save time and improve the quality of their websites.